Hey, good morning, everyone. So it is day 11 or hormone boot camp. So today I want to talk a little bit more about vitamin D and maybe clear up a little bit of confusion, or I should say maybe I guess be more clear about what exactly is it that we're going through and that you're going to be experiencing as you go through the process, going through each week, and understanding what's going on. So a question, I guess, that was brought up yesterday was regarding sleep. And so one of the things that I want to be clear about when it comes to vitamin D, using fermented cod liver oil, I want you to think of fermented cod liver oil, not necessarily like as a supplement, not as something that's going to fix you necessarily, but really, it's just kind of like one of those fundamental things that your gut needs. I've mentioned this before, but your levels of vitamin D basically they're directly correlated to your gut health, meaning the lower your vitamin D levels, the weaker your immune system is. The weaker your immune system is, basically what that means is that you don't have enough power, enough bacteria, you don't have enough, probiotics in your gut that are digesting food for you. And so everything that we are doing here, I'm essentially helping you and, priming your body. You're essentially helping prime your gut for digestion. And vitamin D fermented cod liver oil is really helping just one aspect of it, which is the fat digestion side of it. Now, when it comes to sleep, you need to really actually focus on protein digestion, which is slightly different, but you still need your gut health to be, at a good level. And so that's where the probiotics that we're going to be getting into during week 4, that's where that's going to come in, right? You're going to be paying attention to your protein digestion. And if you can see, and go back, a few, I don't know, a few weeks ago, like I don't I'm for the most part on a plant-based diet. But you can see, like, a few weeks ago I was eating brisket and ribs and things like that, and part of that for me was as a way to kind of like test and measure how my digestive system was going. And I haven't had meat ever since, and I probably won't be having meat for for a while. And but anyways, the reason why that why I'm bringing that up is because at the end of the day, your digestive system, when it comes to protein, that's what's going to really determine your sleep. And here's the other thing that I don't know if I've been clear about it, but the same probiotics that break down proteins for you, the same enzymes that they release that break down protein, they are the same enzymes that will actually build protein inside of your body. So digestion is not really, or I should say, the probiotics in your gut health is not just for digesting and breaking down food. It's also the builders. They're also the ones that build protein. And when I say build protein, that means build muscle, build tissue, build your organs, right? So if your liver is not doing good, if your thyroid is not doing good, if something was broken or damaged, the only way that the body's going to heal itself is if it's able to take the nutrients like amino acids and actually build tissue out of it. So that's why you need to really, really pay attention and focus to it. And as you begin to understand that, you can understand why, if you're lacking certain amino acids like tyrosine. Tyrosine is the one that the body uses to convert the thyroid hormone, the inactive form T4 into T3, right? That happens in the liver, and you can only do that if you have, a good digestive system, meaning that the body can take down protein, break it down into amino acid. Tyrosine is the amino acid. That's the same protein or amino acid that the body uses for your serotonin, melatonin. Tryptophan is the other one that helps you with melatonin. That's the one that helps you with sleep. And so what you're going to see over the next few weeks, not this week necessarily. This week, you're just basically getting your levels of vitamin D to a level where, your body's like saying, okay, like now my gut health is improving, kind of like tongue tied here. Your gut health is improving. And then next week, what we're going to do, if you pay attention, I guess, to what I'm the process that I'm walking you through is, since I realize that we don't have a good digestive system, here's what I realize. Most of the food that you're eating, I mean, number one, from what I've seen and what you're going to see and kind of like pay attention to. Good morning, Carolina. What you're going to see and pay attention to is that not only is the food like not the greatest for most people, um, if you can digest it, like that's even worse because now you're not getting nutrients. And so next week, really what it's designed to do, it's to basically give you guys the nutrients that I know is missing in most people's diets, right? That's why I threw that in for week 3. And I'm following basically what I would do when I was brewing beer. I was paying attention to the quality of water, minerals, pH, temperature, and next week is essentially making sure that you have the nutrients. Like when I was brewing beer, without nutrients, I couldn't brew beer. That's why brewers use wheat and barley to basically make a beer, and then they make a light beer. You know how they make a light beer? They add corn or rice because they don't, those are called adjuncts. They don't have as much nitrogen or minerals or nutrients. And so really just kind of waters down the beer, but you can't do it so much because if you water it down too much, then there's not enough nutrients for the yeast to grow. Right. And so that's basically what's happening with our diets. Our food doesn't have the same amount of minerals or nutrients that they used to have. And so think of it as like watering down your diet. You get to a point where you're lacking so much nutrition that even if you're eating, you're not getting anything, out of it anyways. And that's why I tell people, like, if you just do those supplements and do like the water and minerals, you're more nourished than like 90% of, the US who is in a standard American diet. Right. And so if you're able to understand that, now all of a sudden you're going to start waking up, it feels like, hey, like I don't feel like I need to eat. Like my body's just functioning. Well, yeah, no shit. You're actually giving it what it needs. Right. And that's basically what I'm trying to like get you guys to get to. And once you get to that point, now you can actually start to really work on your gut. Working on your gut is really a lot of work. You're going to have to be cleaning it out, adding more probiotics, cleaning it out. And that's basically what I have been doing. It's a constant struggle because you're fighting like colonies of bad bacteria in your gut. You can't just get rid of them. And so that's basically what week 4 is going to be designed for. So, I promised I was going to give you like a bit of a cocktail, formula, I guess, that I would use to, jumpstart like hormone production. And basically here's, I know I've mentioned this before, but now that I've said all of this, you're going to now to start to make sense why, fermented cod liver oil is better when you take it at night. Most of your hormone production happens while you sleep. Like the best way for your body to produce hormones is if you get good deep sleep. And I know that most people who have those digestive issues are not getting enough sleep. That's why you can go a full 8 hours of sleep and you wake up the next morning feeling like you didn't sleep a single hour and you're just fatigued, walking like a zombie. And it's because you just didn't get to that level of deep sleep. And so the best way to kind of like switch that around is basically through fermented cod liver oil. Number one, cholesterol. You need cholesterol in your diet. That's where your hormones are derived from. Testosterone is directly derived from cholesterol. So like last night I had basically 4 eggs for dinner with avocado. There's the healthy fat. And then I did my fermented cod liver oil. I did 4 capsules of those. And then I took L-tryptophan, which is the amino acid. Now I probably don't even need that amino acid, but I wanted to like really test it out and like kind of like feel the difference, because nowadays like I get most of my amino acids from like things like spirulina, chlorella, or other sources of protein, and my body's better at digesting and building its own protein, so I don't need it. But that's basically the it's one of the things that I've used the L-tryptophan is basically the amino acid that the body uses to produce melatonin. And when you have been missing that amino acid and you take it, you will notice a change in your sleep. And if you combine that with the fermented cod liver oil, basically improving your gut health with that, and if you combine that with cholesterol in your diet, all right, cholesterol is a topic that I'll probably be dealing with closer to week 6, because I know a lot of people that are going through this have high levels of cholesterol, which is a whole separate issue, a big hurdle that you're gonna have to like learn to overcome. But it basically boils down to the same thing, is that you just don't have enough cholesterol in your diet, and that's why people see that it's the body producing its own cholesterol, which is I used to say the bad kind, but it's just it's just not balanced. Basically, it's really what it means. Um, but that's basically kind of like the little cocktail, I guess, formula or recipe that I would use to get myself into that deep sleep. And over time, you don't need to take the L-tryptophan amino acid. Your body should be getting that from food. And so you're going to be testing out your digestive system, from that point forward. So, Ina, deep sleep equals good hormones. Yes, that's exactly what you're trying to get to. And um, keep in mind too, once we get to the adaptogenic herbs, that's the other thing that's going to help you get good sleep, right? So for right now, the biggest thing that you want to do is just to make sure that you stay consistent with drinking water with the minerals and taking your fermented cod liver oil, and start to see the changes. Now, I know that, out of 17 participants, there's only a handful left right now who are still participating and who are still being active. The rest of them are just, have just fallen behind. And it's sad, but that's what happens. And, I there's only so much that I can do. I mean, I tried, the first week I was talking about hold fast, stay true. I was talking about challenges. I was talking about all these things, and here we are. So, anyways, that's it for today. I gotta get going, but stay, hold fast, stay true, and I'll talk to you guys later.